Hi, and welcome to the Crit Hit Wild podcast, where we talk about all things Marvel Crisis Protocol and review a different character every week. I'm your host, Jared.
I'm Brad.
I'm Fred.
And I'm Brandon.
Yeah, I got right into it right there. This is going to be our Cable episode, suggested to us by, was it Tim?
It was Tim.
It was Tim, so thank you, Tim, for giving us a recommendation for Cable. We actually have some more recommendations coming in, so any comments that you guys want to leave us or email us, or if there's a particular character that you want, we do look at them and we do put them down as like a priority to do. So feel free if there's anything you want us to talk about, or if there's any particular character you want us to cover, and we'd love to do it. We'd love to hear from you guys. Well, before I get into anything else, how you guys doing? You guys doing all right? I know Fred, you're tired.
I'm tired, but I'm all right. I'm doing fine. It's just been a long, rainy week at work, and I've been I'm muddier. Yesterday I was muddier than I've been in months, but I survived.
You can never tell. You always just sound so peppy. You're a true inspiration of positivity.
Are we sure it's mud that you were covered in?
He hopes so.
You don't want to cross this bridge.
As someone who knows what you do for a living, I'm worried.
Let's not cross this bridge, seriously.
How you doing, Brad? You all right?
I'm also tired, but I'm fine.
Well, that's good. You doing all right, Brandon? Yeah, I know you're feeling better.
Yeah, definitely feeling better. But
He's,
I'm on the 3 in a row train because I've already, as from Monday, I've worked 52 hours this week. So
That is disgusting.
it's
Yeah.
it's not okay. I actually got home. I left my house at like 5:30 this morning, but I got home at 3, which has been the earliest day I've had all week.
Nice.
However, I immediately went to sleep.
That's fair. Well, at least you woke up and you're here with us now. That's great.
Yeah, I was actually kind of worried about it, but
And you're not all jacked up on the meds?
no, I'm all jacked up on root beer.
Root beer, there you go. And you put down your mining pick. You're not in the salt mines anymore, chipping away.
You know, we're just out here drinking good old A&W root beer made fresh at the A&W restaurant.
Oh
Well-
my god, I could go for some root beer right now. Oh my god. After this record, I may drive to the store.
We'll just you record on your phone. Just take your phone with you and go to the store right now, and we'll just do a live feed of you going to like Go-Mart and getting root beer.
All right, here's a hot take for you. Here's a hot one. So if next time we have Vampire Fred, I will pick up a gallon of A&W root beer from the restaurant and bring to
Oh my god.
It's a date.
Oh my.
That's exciting. Can I get a picture of you guys just
I'm
like having the
also
time of your lives?
excited.
Oh, look at. Well, he didn't offer it to you, Brad.
No,
I'm gonna take some.
yeah, it's I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't. Let's make that very clear. I wouldn't. Brad was part of the inspiration because I feel like he wanted to ask me to bring him some. He actually asked me to bring him some
I
earlier.
did before we started recording. I asked you to bring me some.
Yeah.
You're a very giving guy, Brandon, and we love you to death. You're our favorite.
We out here.
All right. Well, one thing I want to shout out really quick.
Ooh, oh god.
Just to kind of chime in of some stuff that we have talked about the last couple episodes. Brad does have a Patreon that is on the Cerebro MCP website, and he has hit his goal of working on it, which we'll talk about that a little bit more in the Cerebro news. But just a big shout out for everybody that chips in and pitches into Brad's Patreon. He's done a lot of hard work. He's put a lot of effort into Cerebro and keeping up with it and stuff, and making sure that, I mean, when you ask me, it's the best app out there for MCP. So just shout out to everybody that pitches in. It really does mean a lot, and it's crazy to just like get that kind of support when we're just kind of on here rambling. And even though he's making an app, put a lot of work into it, it's really nice to have a community that's like kind of supporting toward that. So thank you very much. Also on our YouTube, we're just steadily getting subscribers. I know that initially we wanted to do like battle reports, like recorded battle reports, and maybe we'll get back to that at some point, but it's just kind of been tricky, like schedules and what we have to do is just like record the games and get them up and stuff like that. So we haven't posted that in a while, but even though we haven't done that, we're still like steadily just increasing in subscribers. So if you're listening on YouTube and you're checking it out, or you listen to us on Spotify, just thank you for the support and for checking out the content. It means a lot to us. And if you do listen to Spotify, you can find us on YouTube. Even if you don't listen to it on YouTube, feel free to give us a sub and a like and a share. That way we can get more people listening. But yeah, I just wanted to give a quick community shout out. Thank you guys for listening. So like I said, this is the cable episode. I think we have actually quite a bit of stuff that I want to cover in the news and announcements section. So before we get into any of that, I think I am going to flip-flop it a little bit, and I'm going to let you kind of talk about Cerebro, because the news and announcement stuff is probably going to be a little bit more in-depth. So if you want to go ahead and take that over, Brad, feel free.
Yeah, sure. So as Jared pointed out, we reached the goal, so I have started working on the app version of Cerebro. I've got some minor updates coming that's gonna come out before the app version. Like, people will be able to see it on the website, and it will be in the app for testing. The big thing is I am very near the point of having the first working test version of Cerebro for people to test. That's the people on the Patreon get to test that. That's another reason to get on the Patreon and have it early. And it's just going to be a version of Cerebro that works exactly like the website, but lives on your phone as an app. It pulls lists and cards and stuff from the internet. And then I'll start adding the offline features after I get it going. But I'm actually looking at the cable card on a unfinished version of the app on my phone right now.
You did show me. You pulled it up yesterday and pulled
Yeah.
up your app, and it is an app.
Yeah.
It's on there. So doesn't have all the stuff yet, right? You still got quite a bit to do.
It has. So I'm close enough that the only thing left as of this recording is to get the play section up and finished.
Okay.
It's actually started but not finished. Everything else on the app's working right now.
All right, cool. Well, once again, thank you guys so much for kind of lending some support and making this thing that happens. So hopefully soon, at least Patrons, you'll be able to get your hands on the app and kind of test it out and send Brad all the bugs. So, all right. So going on into news. So I think you guys can all see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Everybody good? Okay. So, one of the first things that we're going to be touching on, and if you're watching us on YouTube, we're going to be taking a look at all the boxes that have been kind of revealed for all the Hydra terrain pieces. So the first one we're going to be taking a look at here is the Hydra Power Station terrain pack. So I think it's confirmed that there are 2 of these in here. Let's see, I'll check the MSRP. So they're MSRP at $49.99. I mean, they look pretty cool. I don't know what size. I wonder if it says what size these are supposed to be. It does not. None of them are probably going to say the size. It does not say the size, but it looks like, it's kind of hard to explain, I guess, if you're not watching on YouTube, but just looks like a couple. I don't know. How would you, Fred? You're smart. How would you describe these?
Okay, so how I would describe them they are half German bunker from World War II and half chemical factory with a bunch of pipes and steam coming out of it. It looks very interesting. My guess, I don't know the size, but my guess is these are going to be size 3 terrain features, kind of similar to the newsstand situation. That's my guess.
I would have also said 3.
Yeah, I could be wrong, but they also have the Hydra symbol emblazoned on the front of the German bunker design side. So they look pretty neat. They're well painted, these ones. I will probably not be buying these, if I'm to be perfectly frank.
I was getting ready to ask you because you've been playing a lot of Hydra. I didn't know if you tried to get a theme going or.
I considered it, and I am much more likely to buy another thing that is one of these in what was
It's
released.
a couple tabs over here.
Yeah,
we're
one that's a couple tabs over. But these two, I mean, they are neat, they are pretty, but I don't think that they excite me as much as some of the other stuff.
Okay, all right. What about you guys, Brad and Brandon? You guys like this? You think you're gonna pick it up? What do you think?
Well, you know me. You
I
weren't
do
around
know.
in the
Yeah.
and you weren't around the Guild Ball days, but I got a lot of Guild Ball terrain. I got a lot of MCP terrain so far, and I am not buying this.
Really?
I don't like the Hydra terrain. If it was, I don't know, like mutant themed, I'd be all over it. But like, I just don't care about Hydra. So
All right. What about you,
You
Brandon?
know what it is?
Nope.
They're brutalist architecture. It's like lots of concrete and a lot of straight lines.
Yep.
I
And-
like the designs of these a lot. I just don't
He just
care
doesn't
for
like
the
the
Hydra
Hydra
thing.
logo.
If they were generic, I'd probably even.
Yeah,
like
I'll
them
be
more.
I don't like it. The look of them is intentionally fascistic,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is yeah.
They've done a good job with like nailing. I feel like the theme like really, really well.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
You like them, Brandon? You gonna pick them up? Or you gonna pass?
I'm not buying these. I don't buy terrain. I
That's
do
not
think they're
true.
really cool though.
Didn't you buy the space trade?
No,
Oh, I thought you did.
I've never actually I have purchased. I lied. I have purchased a extra taco truck that somebody had.
Oh, okay.
That is the
There-
only piece of terrain I've ever purchased.
You have the soda box, right?
But, yeah, I mean, I didn't buy it for the terrain.
Okay, fair.
I do have terrain. I do have
Terrain.
some. I just terrain.
Two-rain.
I do have terrain. I just do not. I don't buy it. But I think this is really cool. Like if I played Hydra, I'd be really enticed to buy it because I do. I also like that we're getting other affiliation based terrain. Like I feel like it's always been
That is
like
cool.
good
Yeah.
guy and stuff terrain.
Mhm.
And I know we got the construction set for Fisk, but that wasn't. I mean, that just is a construction set. Like this is like very specific. Like this is what it is. Like
Yeah.
Yeah,
this
and
is Hydra.
you know what?
This is Cabal. This is.
If you have these on the table, that means that this is taking place in a Hydra facility, and it's a Hydra facility that's getting blown up and destroyed instead of a city street.
Yep. I like that. Like, there's enough terrain like coming out to where you can kind of like really set up like an era. So like if you wanted to like play like a thematic game and have like old school Hydra versus like kind of old school Shield, like you could totally do that.
I also hate the price on these terrains.
What would I
That's
say
just-
this was?
That's just
So 50,
45, 50?
$50
But-
for these two. Yeah.
That's just me though. Like
I also
I just
wanna
it's hard
point
for me to
out-
be like I could buy 2 model kits for this.
Yeah.
And
you can't buy 2 model kits, like 1.5
buy,
model kits.
right.
you could buy I could buy a 35er and then I could buy like Boba Fett.
That's true. Yeah.
Oh,
From two
okay.
different game systems, he could do
Pew pew
that.
pew.
Yeah. I want to point out that if there's some way to leave off that Hydra symbol, like that it's optional, then this would make pretty good scatterpoint terrain.
Oh, there you go.
Ooh.
I like that. That's clever. All right, let's move on to the next piece. So this is going to be the Hydra tank terrain. That comes with an ultimate encounter. So this is coming in at MSRP $69.99.
Nice.
So
Nice.
$70, a little expensive there, but looking at the tank, I did not realize that it had a Red Skull mini
Yeah.
that pops out of it. So that's pretty cool. I'm sure that you'll be able to take it off. They have done an amazing paint job on this. I mean, it looks
Yeah, it looks.
pretty fucking
It looks
sweet.
great. You got a
Uh,
little Johann Schmidt in there.
yeah,
It also comes with an ultimate encounter.
yeah.
It is basically just an ultimate encounter. Right? Like you can, it's like it's a part of the ultimate encounter, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Now, I wonder what size this is going to be. Like, it has to be
I would
a
say
4 or 5. You don't
I
think
would
it would
say
go up to a
4.
5?
I think it's
Nah,
gonna be a 5. I think if it's a 4, it's not gonna. I don't think it'll be throwable. So I think I actually on one team I think it'll be a 5.
I swear to God, if this is unthrowable, that's like if it's a 4 and it's unthrowable, that's nutty. Like I don't like that in this game. Like I like the game because I can destroy the terrain. The Quinjet makes me upset.
I agree 100%. I
Yeah,
think
you
that
should be able to throw
non-throwable
the
terrain is
Quinjet.
bad.
I mean, I guess like it's up to the TO. If the TO was like, this is size 4, you can throw it, then that's one thing. But that's going to be on like a TO, case by case basis, or. But if you're just having like a fun game and like both players on like a casual night, they're like, we should be able to throw this. Okay, let's throw it. Like that's totally fine. But I always kind of approach stuff a little bit more from like a competitive mindset and. As per AMG, the Quinjet is not throwable, and I don't like how the rules operate when you have like things with like wings. I distinctly remember the first time I encountered that was at a tournament, and there was a Milano figure that was on the table, and it had like a wingspan and stuff, and it was just kind of wonky because I knew what had to happen, but my opponent wasn't as sure, and it got just a little confusing, being like, you can't go underneath the wing, you have to stop and kind of like gauge it like on the outside and stuff. So I don't know. Wingspan stuff gets wonky in this game, and I don't like non-throwable stuff. So in tangent.
I agree that I hate the idea of non-throwable terrain.
Yeah.
I just think this feels like something that won't be throwable to me. I don't know why. Maybe it'll
I bet
just be
you're
a rule
right.
in the ultimate encounter that it can't be thrown. That would be the best case scenario.
If
But
it's
yeah,
in the
I
ultimate
would
encounter,
think
that's
that-
completely fine. But
I think as
Okay.
a terrain piece, it'll be throwable.
I hope so. I really do. This does look really cool, though, and I'm very interested in what the ultimate encounter would kind of be about. I mean, I'm sure you're trying to take down like this massive tank, and that seems pretty badass to me. Have you ever seen this in the comics, Brad?
No, but I'm not reading the right comics to have seen this.
Fair enough. So yeah, what do you guys think? Will any of you be picking this up? I guess on a
Yeah,
scale of
this-
like 1 to 10, what would you give this as a terrain piece? We'll start there.
This is Fred. I'll give this guy a solid
Did you just
7.5.
introduce yourself?
He did introduce himself when he gave this.
You know what? For some reason, I thought to myself, no one's gonna recognize my voice. I'd better introduce myself.
You
As if I
have.
wasn't always on this podcast.
I
I
feel
don't
like
know why I did that.
all of us have like our voices are different to where like I think at best me and Brandon might sound the closest. But I feel
would
like
probably
I
I don't think there's I don't think there's any world where people aren't going to recognize Fred
no,
or Brad.
they're definitely going to recognize Brad and they're going to recognize Fred.
Yeah.
So
I don't
so-
think any of us
so-
sound alike, but we're also always around each other, so like we're probably never gonna think we sound alike. You know
That's
what? Leave
true.
us a comment if you think any of us sound alike.
yeah, let us know in the comments. If you listen on Spotify, make sure you go to our YouTube channel, subscribe to it first before you do anything, and then let us know in the comments what you think. But,
We're on more than just Spotify.
yeah, I guess I forget because you sent us like the Spotify like analytics. But yeah, whatever you listen to us on, if you're not listening to us or watching on YouTube, feel free to go down, subscribe, and then let us know if we sound like each other. Well, what would you give it, Brandon? It's 1 to 10. What would you give it?
I actually love this terrain piece. I love that it comes with an ultimate encounter. I love the way it looks. I like that Red Skull's on it. Like, I like literally about everything about it. The only thing that would be kind of weird. I hope that like the Red Skull piece, you can set it up pretty easily to where you can remove it, because I don't like the idea of him in it.
I don't think
during a
like
game.
I think he probably slots in and like you could glue or you just he's probably something that just like there's like a little indenture like at the top. You probably just either put him in or pick him out. Like I don't think that you're gonna have to do that.
It could be gravity held. It could, because it's on the top.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
you can
yeah,
set it in
it
there.
could just literally sit right in. Other than that, I would like it to come with maybe some like some 2s and maybe some 1s with it.
That's fair. I
Like,
think I would. Let me check
maybe
the
some
description.
barricades.
I doubt it does because I feel like that would be in the picture, but it doesn't hurt to.
Can you see the back of the box? The back of the box would show it.
I do not have a picture of the back of the box. I only have the 2 of the tank and then the front. I can't flip it, so. There's no way. Like it would show right here if it did. So it just is going to come with this, which is a little lame. I think I'm right there with you. Like even if it just had some like barrels or some crates or something like that, I think
Yeah,
Or
that would be
tank-
good.
the old wooden crates from this era.
Yeah.
Or
As
like
like-
those they look like jacks, those with steel girders welded together. They were tank traps back in the day.
Yeah, yeah,
You
I
guys know
understand.
what
Yeah,
I'm-
I know what
Oh,
you're talking
those
about. Yeah,
kind of jacks.
yeah.
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 But maybe they didn't have the
That
room on
was
the sprues. Like this is a lot of model. So
Yeah, true.
what
True.
would you give it, Brad? 1 to 10.
I don't know. It's a pretty good piece, like an 8. This
Eight.
one I might actually buy because it comes with
I'm gonna say
Something I
8.5
can
for the
play.
record. I did not give it a rating.
Oh, okay, my bad. I forgot that you didn't say a number. So an 8,
Wait, hold on. Did I give it the lowest grade?
you did.
Yeah,
and
which is-
Brandon gave it the highest.
Oh well, hold on.
I really
did-
like the terrain piece, and Jared has not given us a
Yeah,
grade.
I
yet. I
did.
do not like the price. $70 is a lot.
I didn't get my rating. Jared here. I give it an 8.
Oh yeah, I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Brad.
All right. Let's move on to the last piece that is coming for the Hydra terrain. So this is the Hydra turret terrain coming in at the MSRP of $64.99. So all of this shit is really expensive, and you're not getting more. So this looks like it's 2 pieces or 2 pieces of terrain. Kind of similar. It's got kind of like a bunkerish look on the concrete work with the Hydra symbol in front, and then it's got 2 kind of like blue plasma cannon looking things kind of sticking up out from the
It
back of
has
them.
options.
It does have options.
It does have options.
Ooh, I only got one picture to look at. Optional
What are the
head.
options?
So the description reads. Equipped with optional heads that make it ready for any situation, the turret adds thematic depth to any battlefield, especially those featuring characters from Hydra. So these look like plasma cannons. They might have something that's like a rocket cannon. Like the picture shown here looks like a double cannon. Maybe they have like a big singular cannon. So they probably have different stuff like that. But this one, and then the like
The non-tank.
the non-tank, like even the tank, to Brandon's point, because you're not getting a character with it. Like Thanos's box was like around that price, but you got like a really good character, lots of cards, an ultimate encounter, and then a terrain piece for his throne. That you're not getting a character, you're just getting the big tank. Although the tank is cool, you're kind of paying for the ultimate encounter there, a little bit extra. I feel like this is like a really hard sell for me. Like the other one was 50, and like I can accept that, but 65 for these 2 turrets, I don't know. Like that seems too much for me. What do you guys think?
Do you think these are 3s also? I mean, looking at
I
them,
think these are 4s.
I
they
think
have
they're
to be 4s,
2s.
right?
You think no, they're
They
not?
can't be 2s. They're so the cost.
I bet they're
is what I'm
2s.
thinking.
There's no way
Oh,
they're
man,
2s.
if they're
You're not
2s,
paying
I bet they're
$70
2s.
for 2s. No, these
bet
are
they're 2s.
no, these are large. Mm-mm.
I think these have got to be 4s. If these are not 4s, then someone should be fired.
I think that
Or someone.
I think that they're 4s. Like I think that the power stations are 3s. I think that these are 4s, and then God, that would put the tank at a 5. If that's how it's like rolling through, maybe the tank's a 4. There's no way these are 2s, dude.
Do you think it's the other way that the power stations are 2s
And these are
3s?
3s. That could be a possibility.
I mean,
That's still really rough sell though.
That is really rough sell. That
Yeah.
worsens it. I hope these are 4s.
I would
that's
say
the-
powers are 3s and these are 4s. That's what I'm calling it. Hot take.
But that's
Cross my
too
fingers.
many 3s and 4s to have on a table.
No, 2 4s and 2 3s. No, that's not too much. And then you just fill it with generic 1s 2s. I don't think so.
Like
I-
one damnable
I've set
fight.
up a lot of tables, Jared. That's too many. Well, it's not too many 3s. But with the 4s, I think that's too many.
I mean, I
Three,
think
if it's 3 4s, that is a lot.
I know.
It's
Oh,
only
yeah,
2.
definitely.
No, it's not 3
Well,
4s.
I was talking about the tank.
Yeah, with the
too.
tank.
Oh,
yeah.
if you do the
Yeah.
tank too, yeah.
Yeah,
It could be a 3 and a 2. Like that one looks drastically smaller.
Oh, okay. I
You
see
might
what
be
you're
right.
saying. Yeah, you might be right there.
You might
Maybe
be right.
one's one size and one's another. Okay, that makes a
However,
little bit
if
more sense.
this is $65 for a 3 and a 2, throw it in the trash.
Like these,
It could be a
they
4
look
and a
cool.
3.
It could be a 4 and a 3. They look cool.
Yeah, they do look cool,
That's
but
that's
to
too much
get
for 2 pieces.
5 pieces of terrain and an ultimate encounter, you'd have to spend what, $195?
So
What was the first set? The first set was 50, right?
yeah, so you're
Yes.
looking at 50, 65, so
So
105 plus
185.
115.
115.
or 115, and then 70.
180. Yeah, 185.
Like the
You really
tank,
think I was the
The
math teacher?
the
right?
the
tank-
$150 I spent on that pre-painted terrain
Mhm.
that hasn't shown up yet feels a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, like that. These are only $5 more than the tank, and with the tank, you're at least getting the ultimate counter. I feel like there was maybe a little bit of a miss. Like I think that this would feel a lot better if they had snuck in like some ones. I think that if there
something
was,
thematic.
yeah, something just a little bit more supplemental. And I'm not saying that maybe you can't like kit bash, because if these have alternate heads, maybe there's something you can do there with that. But I feel like maybe just a little bit more supplemental stuff in the turrets and then the power stations
I
would
mean,
have felt a little bit better.
even the Sentinel packs came with terrain.
Yep.
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 The one cool thing is if you can make these without the Hydra logo, these or at least this kit in the power station do translate really well to a lot of other war games, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
And to Brad's point, like if you don't have to put the Hydra symbol, these would be great in like Shatterpoint, like too. Like whenever that game comes out,
Yeah.
these would be great. Like these would be
And-
good Star Wars Legion terrain pieces. Like
Yeah, I think they'd be really good in a
Shatterpoint.
lot of games.
yeah,
The Shatterpoint terrain would probably be pretty good in MCP.
an MCP. Yeah. So yep, that'd be the more value you can get out of the stuff you buy, the better, right? And I guess if you are looking to use these in multiple game systems, maybe this will be a good purchase. If you're only playing MCP, I mean, if you ask me, I think these are a little bit of a pass, even though they do look pretty cool. So
It's the price, man.
it's the
That
price.
price is
If the
rough.
price was not this high, I would say these are probably worth picking up. But
I honestly,
too
I
much.
think if it all came together, I think the most I would spend on it would be like $100.
How much was Fisk?
40?
Yeah. So what? This is 25 more than Fisk for 2
I believe
pieces.
the Fist Boss was 40.
And,
'Cause
no, there's no way that it's only 40. It has to be more than that, right?
It was either 40 or 50.
I know it's less than this, and you get so much more.
Oh, the
Like,
terrain pack?
Yeah.
It's a really good deal. I don't remember what it was.
it's such a good deal that I've almost bought it numerous times. And like I said, that's like, and I've literally, but I got really, I got real like stingy about it, and I was like, you know what? I'll just wait for it to go on sale at a shop and buy it then, and that never happened. So I don't own it. It is $55 on their website.
All right, let's go 55. Yeah, so $10 less, and you get so much more. So if you need terrain for this game, if you're getting into it, get that instead. Get the core set.
Buy the core set and
then get that,
set.
and then you're good to go. All right, let's move on to the two bigger things that we've kind of seen that are a little bit more exciting. We have a new kit that we've been showing the miniatures for, and that is for Agent Venom and Spider-Woman. So looking at them, I mean, I like the way that they look. So I'm not like a huge I am a Marvel fan, and I do like comic books, but my knowledge of it is like not, when you compare it to Brad, it's very, very minimal. So I don't know exactly what all Agent Venom can do, but I love this miniature. I know I saw some people complaining online about him. What do
Are
you
they
think?
complaining because he hardly ever actually uses venom tentacles?
Yes.
So it's wild that they chose this pose.
It's somebody said, has he even ever shot guns with his tentacles in the comics? And
I do not that I know of. Now I haven't read every appearance of him, but I've read quite a few. He's my favorite Venom.
Yeah,
okay.
he's also the Venom that's the most in control of the symbiote, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Is this is the character that this is for? Is it Peter Parker's bully?
No, yes,
Yes.
Flash
Yeah.
Flash
I think
Thompson,
it said so
Flash
on
Thompson.
the.
Wow, I
who
said
has
Flash
no.
Gordon.
Yeah, once a high school bully to Peter Parker, the matured Flash Thompson enlisted in the armed forces to turn his life around.
Oh boy.
And then coming
He
home from
lost.
the war without his legs.
Yeah, he lost his legs in the war, and
Yeah.
then
Agreed to undergo a
um,
dangerous procedure that would see him
yeah.
bonded to the Venom symbiote.
Which war? Is it just quote
a
unquote the war?
unnamed Middle Eastern war.
Unnamed
Hey.
Middle Eastern war? Yeah.
So, do we think?
And
What?
this character in the comics super idolizes Spider-Man too, right?
Yes, Flash, big Spider-Man fan, big Peter Parker bully. Also, Fred, I think originally it was the Operation Desert Storm.
Okay.
But that can't be anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
So these.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
So he's Spider-Man fan.
So these would like. We should be able to take both, right? Because you just can't take the same alias. So we'd have a Venom Eddie Brock, but also, well, this is Agent Venom, so they're two different things.
Yeah.
So you could take them both, right?
Yes, you can take them both.
Yeah. So I don't
Even
know.
though it's the same entity in
Yeah,
both.
Even though it's
but
Venom.
that's
To be
not
fair,
what they go by.
symbiotes
Okay.
can separate, so there could be two Venoms at the same time.
To be
There's
fair.
never has been two Venoms. So while Flash Thompson was Venom, Eddie Brock was anti-Venom,
Yes.
and then they.
Who is a
I
dope
said that there's
character for the
not been.
record.
I said there's not been two Venoms, but there's literally two Venoms right now in the comics. Anyway, and then they switched. So now Flash is anti-Venom. So just imagine the white and black switched on this costume. And then Eddie got Venom back. And also Eddie's son is Venom right now.
Oh boy.
He's like 12.
Oh boy.
Well, either way, I like the way this model looks. I think it looks cool. Whenever they do kind of little flimsy bits like this, it makes me a little bit nervous to transport, but it'll probably hold up pretty good. So I like this model. I think it'll be cool.
I'm getting this pack for this model.
Yep. Going on.
Spider-Woman's a bonus.
Yeah, so we got.
They tend to hold up very well. Like even when they do this.
I've not
like
had any
Carnage-
trouble. Yeah.
Yeah. Carnage is surprisingly sturdy.
Yeah.
Storm, I play her all the time. Never had an issue.
We also have Spider-Woman, aka Jessica Drew. So I don't know.
Are you sure it's Jessica Drew?
I thought so. Maybe not.
It is Jessica.
Jessica Drew, got it. Yeah, I mean she looks cool. I don't know.
I was very disappointed. I was hoping for Julia Carpenter.
I don't know anything about this character other than that she's a 5'7" who gives you -1 power on snap. So
Nice.
that's all I know.
She was created by Hydra.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so she could be Hydra affiliated. She could be A-Force. She shouldn't be, but probably will be Web Warriors.
That's cool.
Yeah, there's
like
literally no reason for her to be a web warrior, and she's almost certainly going to be.
Yeah. Agent Venom will probably be a Web Warrior. Probably shouldn't be. He will almost certainly be a Guardian of the Galaxy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It does say that in the affiliations possible. Like it doesn't say who gets what, but it says these will offer a great addition to X affiliations, and Guardians of the Galaxy is one of them.
Oh, what's the list?
It's on there, right?
Let me read the full description.
It says it on there. I definitely read it.
Okay, yeah, here we go. This pack adds
did.
beautifully sculpted miniatures of both characters to players' teams and also provides 4 new team tactics cards to give them even more options when fighting alongside other spider-themed heroes, the Guardians of the Galaxy, and more.
Yeah.
It was very, very weaselly written.
It wasn't blunt like the Rhino pack.
Yeah.
Well, pretty cool models. Yeah, I look forward to this pack. I'll probably also pick it up just for this guy right here. So, yeah, good stuff. Speaking of spider people, we have a affiliation pack that has been shared by AMG. So it's the Web Warriors affiliation pack. In that you're going to be getting Peter Parker, core Peter Parker, Miles, Gwen, and Venom, regular Venom. And cheekily, they have shared some cards. Now, they've covered up the ability text for Spider-Man, Venom, Ghost, and Ghost Spider, and then they have Miles in the forefront. Miles does not appear like there are any changes on his card. Now, these are the new horizontal layout cards. We can see in the back that All Webbed Up, Lethal Protector, Trip Up, Sucker, Uneasy Allies, and Web Barrier are all cards that are coming in this affiliation pack. And one
Before
thing...
you move on,
Oh, yes.
what I noticed today that really pissed me off because I was updating Cerebro stuff was you cannot see what card symbol
Oh,
these
it's on the
cards are
bottom
going
of
to have.
these?
That's the tactics cards are going to have.
Yep.
So we do not know if it's a new symbol or if they're reprinting them with the old symbol or what. Because Web Barrier is currently not playable in the standard tournaments.
I bet that these will all be playable.
I guess we'll see.
If I had to bet money.
And it could be reworded too.
Some of them might change, yeah. I don't know. But looking at the card, if you kind of notice, it's a little small. But if you're looking here on core Peter Parker, he now has 6 stamina, where he originally had 5. So
Holy moly!
all we can...
It's a mistake.
It's not a mistake.
Is it a mistake?
No.
I'm calling it now. It's a mistake.
No, that's not a mistake. This is a small buff. Now, again, they have covered up all the text on the other cards.
It's a small buff. There could be a lot more to it.
There could be more on these cards that we don't know about.
People have
Are you
already
saying-
got the X-Men cards, and none of them changed. They're not changing anything.
They might not change the text, but if I bet you he got this little stam
No,
buff. Yep.
it's a mistake.
We'll see. People are gonna freak out if it's a mistake.
I would say if he is buffed and is actually like a model that's worth putting on the table, which he currently is not, this is probably the best of the affiliation packs.
That we've got so far, yeah. As far as just like...
Even if he doesn't change, the other 3 models outperform any of the 4 models. I don't know. That Brotherhood one's really good.
The Brotherhood one is probably like second best, yeah.
I just wish the Brotherhood one was Juggernaut, Mystique, Magneto, and Toad. For reasons that don't make any sense, I just wish it was a thing.
I hope that this is right. I hope that they do give him a small stam increase and that he starts to see more play. So,
Yeah. So.
But yeah, good things coming out of AMG this week. The terrain, a little meh, coming from us at least. If you guys are planning on getting it, I mean, you can let us know, but it's just a little costly there. Agent Venom and Spider-Woman look really, really cool. And then this terrain, this affiliation pack coming out seems pretty neat. And hopefully they have just a little sneaky buff in there for Peter. But yeah, I think that's all for news and announcements, unless I've missed something. Do you guys have anything else you want to talk about before we move on?
I think we're good.
All right, so because our announcements and like kind of news and stuff was so long-winded, we're gonna skip over a couple segments that we normally do, but we can go on to talk about games. We didn't actually play in any MCP this week. I did play some Legion last night with Borka. I know that the points updates dropped at the time of recording, which we're recording on the 8th. The points updates just dropped, so congratulations to all the Legion people. They've been wanting it for a while, and now that they finally gotten it. But we did play a couple games of Star Wars Legion. It was fun. I played some Shadow Collective. We played Skirmish. And I think the first game he played Rebels, and then the second game he played Empire. And That's a really fun game. If you haven't tried out Legion and you're thinking about getting into it, we played it like a while back. Kind of dropped it after. I know Brad, you dropped it right when like the Gar nerfs started hitting, right? Like all the points increases.
What?
Did you stop playing like right when the Gar nerfs hit,
Oh,
or was it a little bit before that?
no, like I think I tried to play once after the clone changes.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just couldn't get into it. So
Well, the points updates made Republic a little bit better. It's a fun game. Like I think that they're trying to undo some of the heavy-handed stuff that I think kind of came out the last time they did a balance. So it was a lot of fun. I had a blast playing it. If you're thinking about getting into Legion, they have Army Battle Force boxes you can buy. I think it's like 150 for each one, and
150.
it's pretty good value. And you get some cool
That's
stuff in them.
MSRP. You can actually find them for about 100 to 120 online.
I think I've seen them for like 119, or at least all the ones that I've seen. But yeah, it's a good deal. Get into it. It's a fun game. Shadow Collective is really good. I enjoyed playing them a lot. But yeah, other than that, I guess we don't have any other MCP games to talk about. Have you guys been playing any games recently?
Well, I've been playing Callisto Protocol, but that's not relevant.
What
to a
chapter?
tabletop.
What chapter are you on, Fred? I have to know.
So I am on the surface of Callisto, which should tell you a bit about where I am. I'm not super far into the game. Can I be frank? Not into it.
You don't
It's
like
not as
it?
good as the game. No. I mean, I don't hate it. It's a competently made game, but it's nowhere near what I wanted it to be.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have that. I've been playing it and I've really been enjoying it. I think I'm on the second to last chapter.
Okay.
And I've been playing
Okay.
on the maximum difficulty.
Maybe that's my
Yeah.
problem. I've been playing on an easier difficulty, but
Look at this guy playing on max difficulty.
I don't do it I'm trying to platinum it, like I'm trying to get it all like in one playthrough, and I've just about done it. I think I just need to beat the game, and I need to collect like a few more collectibles, and then I'm good to go.
like, even collectibles are not as well written as Dead Spaces were.
No, they're
I'm
not.
going to always be comparing this to Dead Space.
That's your
because
mistake, Fred.
And that is the problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
What about you, Brandon? I know you've been playing. You've actually been playing Marvel Midnight Suns, right? You've been liking it.
Yeah, I've been playing Midnight Suns. If I don't pass out after this, I'm probably gonna start it back up. I'm enjoying it. I think the only I know there's like negative reviews and stuff, but I really think a lot of them were because they did not understand the game they were like getting themselves into.
I think that people were just expecting XCOM like 3, but with Marvel characters, and it's a different, like it's still like Fire Axis did a good job with it. It's just a different type of like play.
Yeah, like you got to understand that it is more. What's that game? Was that game called Detroit, where you kind of are just like slow playing like a movie?
Oh,
That's how this
Detroit
game
Beyond
feels.
Human or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how this game feels. Like you get to do stuff, but for the most part, like you're really watching a story unfold.
Mhm.
I enjoy it. It's also not as it is relatively complicated in the aspect of like it's a card-based game, and if you just try to like spam through it, like it won't happen.
Yeah. I'm excited. I haven't picked it up yet. I know Aaron, who I think we've talked about a few times in the cast before, but Aaron's been playing it. He's really been loving it. So
That's a game I need to get. I love the XCOM games, and I know this is not XCOM, but
Did you
looked
pay attention at all?
What?
I said, did you pay attention at all? It's not XCOM.
That's what I said. This is not XCOM. That's what I said. It's made by the people who made XCOM, and so
Yes.
for that reason, it will get that comparison. And it is, from what I hear, the system is really, really interesting, and it's something that I would like to play.
Do you have a PS5?
he has
No.
he has an Xbox.
I have an Xbox.
Okay. I didn't know if you were like sophisticated or not. I couldn't figure it out.
I guess the answer is no.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm completely kidding.
What about you, Brad? You been playing anything? Just
Well, I've been really excited for this game coming to the Switch eventually. It's basically just XCOM with Marvel characters.
oh yes, that's what Marvel
Yeah.
Midnight Suns.
I I played a couple weeks ago MCP game, and I played X-Men Red, and that was fun. I'm playing Marvel Snap.
Yeah. Can I go on a quick tangent about Marvel Snap and like just do a little PSA? I don't know how many people who are listening played Marvel Snap. It is a fun card game, so you should get into it if you feel like card games. I would think that people would know this by now, but just as a PSA, if you play Daredevil, I've seen so many people put down Daredevil I'll play Daredevil, excuse me. I'll play Daredevil, and then people will wait until the turn meter almost runs out, and then they'll play all their cards. And I think that people don't realize that. Just as a quick like reference, what Daredevil is you play him down. He's a card. He's a 2/2, but on turn 5 of the game, you get to see where your opponent places their cards when normally you don't in this game. You both play your cards at the same time. He lets you see where players put their cards and then what those cards are. And there's also like a standard like Hearthstone or something like that. There's a timer, and that's how long you have to take the turn. People will wait until the very last second and then play those cards. And I think that they think that they're duping the Daredevil player because they throw them down, and then they're thinking he won't have enough time to see what I'm playing and then react to it. When in fact, the Daredevil card lets you wait until you see their cards, and then it starts your own timer. So please stop doing that. Just play your cards. I'm going to have all my time. Just play them.
If you're not using Daredevil to play Professor X, I don't know why you're even using Daredevil.
Oh, I have Professor X. Don't you worry about that.
When I get Daredevil, like I have an all X-Men list. They're all mutants.
Except for Daredevil.
When I pull Daredevil is going in that list, and Professor X is going back in.
Yeah, like it's really good. That's a really strong combo. But just play your damn cards. I'm gonna get to play mine. Just do it. Quit wasting so much time. That's it. That's the end of my rant. All right. Well, I think with that, we can move on to character review if you guys are ready.
Sure.
All right. So this week we are taking a look at Cable, aka Nathan Summers. He is a 6 stamina, short move, size 2, 5 threat character. I say short move. I should note that he is on the medium size base, so he does get a little bit of extra movement out of it. He has a 3 physical, 3 energy, 4 mystic stat line, and he actually goes up 1 stamina on his injured side. So he starts at 6 and goes up to 7. Fred, you want to read the attack suite?
Sure. Give me just a second.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think I'm gonna start doing that all the time.
His first attack is an energy attack, the plasma rifle, and it is a range 5 that throws 5 dice and with 0 cost. It has the normal builder rules, and it has wild incinerate. And his spender is a mystic attack called Ascani's Sun. And it is an area an area 2 attack with 7 dice, and it costs 6 power. And for each attack that deals damage, after the attack is resolved, remove 1 damage from this character. And now, Jared, if you wouldn't do me the honors, can you flip over to the injured side?
I can.
Because
Go ahead.
yeah. So on his injured side, Oksani's Sun goes to it's a wild hit trigger for stagger, as well as that healing effect. And on a wild hit, he will stagger someone who is hit by this attack.
Yep.
So it gets better on the injured side.
On 7 dice, that's pretty consistent. Like
It is. That's not bad.
Yeah.
That's pretty solid.
All right. I'll take the leadership, and then Brad, if you want to read the actives. And then Brandon, you
No.
couldn't read the rest. Yeah. So he has the leadership ability Wetworks, which is Affiliation X-Force. And it's pretty simple. Each allied character may reroll 1 die in their attack rolls once per turn. Pretty bare. It's fine. It's an okay.
Not fine.
It's you're right. All right, go ahead, Brad.
Body slide by 1 costs 2. Place this character within 2 of its current position. The superpower can be used only once per turn. Omega level threat. It costs X. This character may spend 1 to 4 when paying the cost of the superpower. Choose an interactive terrain feature within range 3 and size equal to or less than the power spent to use this superpower. Though the chosen terrain feature medium, the superpower can only be used once per turn.
It can only be used once per turn, but that's kind of like a really miniature Magneto, right? Being able to have the flexibility of what you're doing, and
it's the second best terrain throw in the game.
And he can do it within 3. Is Magneto 3 as well? Was that the
Yes.
grab range?
But he throws long.
Yeah, he throws long. So it's like a really miniature Magneto, but still it's a very, very solid throw ability. You want to take the rest of it, Brandon?
Yeah. Telekinetic shield, which is reactive. When this character or an allied character within 3 of this character is targeted by an attack, this character may use this superpower. You can add 2 dice to the target character's defense roll against this attack. It costs 2 power. And then techno-organic virus suppression. During the power phase, this character gains 1 additional power. And the homeboy is immune to poison.
I really like how you said the title of that in like a question form. It's like, I'm Ron Burgundy. I really enjoyed it. It was nice. All right, yeah. So, Cable, he is a point of contention when it comes to what a good leader is. A lot of people are saying that is one of the probably worst leaderships in the game. Like, it's definitely on the lower end, and
It's not even the worst Summers leadership.
Yeah, no, it's better than that. But that was a good one. Damn. You can holster that thing back now. You've done your work. Yeah, so it's not the best. It's definitely very very low rated. And the affiliation as a whole, while they have some good pieces to them, they got a little bit of a boon whenever X-23 and Honey Badger came out. But this affiliation isn't highly played, and they're not. I don't know. Like they don't always seem to get the work done on the table. But we're not just talking about the affiliation. He does bring that affiliation, which is sus at best. But when we're also looking at the character, he is a 5-threat character. So I think that's part of like what hampers the affiliation a little bit, is when you're kind of tied behind a very expensive leader. That leader has to really do work, either be a support for your team or by how much he can murder. And I just don't know if Cable gets it done, but we'll start with you, Brad. What do you think about old Cable kind of going through it?
I want to like him. There's some good stuff. Like, his body slide's good. His Omega level threat throw is really good. That leadership, I mean, I've played quite a few X-Force games, and I actually found that I won a lot more when I played as few X-Force models as possible. So my 3 affiliated models in my list ended up being Cable, of course, X-23, and Winter Soldier.
Oh,
And,
No Domino?
and then, oh yeah, and Domino. There we go. I was gonna say I had to, when I went wide, I had to have had one more, and then I played people like Baron Zemo.
He is a good addition, yeah.
Yeah, Baron Zemo, Nebula, Bullseye, people like that. And they worked better by just taking better models that happen to get an extra reroll sometimes.
Yeah, like you talked about like body slide by one being good. Like so there's a tactics card that it's not cables, but I feel like it's used on cable more often than not, and I think that it is worth talking about. So we'll cover that here in a moment. But once you get cable into position, I've really found that there's not like a lot of scenarios that he can't like touch people. Like range 5 is crazy far. A medium base is, it's when you're traveling with a medium base, you're getting good distance, but being able to place within 2, and he always has the power, like it's online every turn because he always gets 2 power. So once he's like kind of in the middle of the board, like he will touch anywhere that he wants to touch and shoot things. The only thing I think is like,
5 threat for only having 5 dice is
yeah,
still.
like I like that he has Incinerate on it, but I almost would have just rather them take the Incinerate off if that meant that he got like 6. I don't know. I wish that his dice pool was a little bit higher for like a 5 threat, but like that's kind of a like I'm not a developer
Yeah,
clearly. Like it doesn't feel
he
good, but I
is.
don't know how much you could change it to make it like okay.
He feels like he just falls just short.
Yeah.
If I may, he also I know he's got that defensive shield ability that costs power, but his I'm worried about his survivability if he's not staying at like standby range. If he's not at extreme range from where combat's taking place.
As you
Because
should.
he's got only 13 stamina total, right?
He
And
has 13, yeah.
yeah, and for someone who is a 5 threat model who is really integral to your team, he's going to be all the way back. He doesn't have ideal defensive roles. They're not bad.
You don't
but they're
want your
not
5 threat to be a back point model.
Right. That's and I mean, he's going to be spending a lot of that power all the time because he's going to want to throw stuff.
Yeah, he's always like body sliding. You're gonna try to shield as much as possible. Like he's not gonna sit on like a ton of power. Like you're gonna be able to do a lot of stuff with his power every turn. But everything being front loaded into like your 5 threat leader, like when you have to start there, it makes this building really rough. And I just don't know that like he can kill stuff, but it's like he doesn't kill stuff any more than Baron Zemo does. Like Baron
Right.
Zemo murders more than he does. So it's like, are you getting that, like, because like you have to put him forward to do the telekinetic shield, so like he can kill some stuff. He's not going to kill stuff more than like some of your 3 threat models. Is he supporting the team enough? I mean, he can, but he has to kind of be up there, which isn't really like what you want to do. I don't know. He's just kind of in like a weird spot. What do you think, Brandon?
Um, yeah, I kind of with Fred and Brad a little bit. I mean, like I want to really like Cable, but it feels bad play. It's kind of like it's the same kind of feeling you get with like Doctor Strange for defenders. Is like you don't feel good having to play Doctor Strange,
Mm-hmm.
but unfortunately, I think Doctor Strange is probably a lot better than Cable.
Yeah, I think I could probably agree with that.
So
One of the reasons I'm excited to be playing the X-Men Red list is that Cable is in the list. I don't get to use him very often. He's in the list, and he has good synergy with the list. And he's clearly not the leader, but
Yeah. Like, there's a lot of fun stuff you can do with him in the game. Like, I think that he actually can splash pretty well into, 2 other affiliations. Like, well, not splash. He is part of the affiliations. I don't know if I'm saying splash. Like, you would think that, Cable, you take him because he's the leader in X-Force, so you probably play with X-Force, but he's actually not bad in X-Men, and he's pretty good in Avengers. Like, there's some jank
he's
that you can...
great in Avengers.
Yeah, there's, like, a lot of jank you can do with, like, having him and Steve putting Steve up. They try to hit Cable. Steve bodyguards. He vibranium shields. Cable telekinetic shields Steve. So he's rolling like a shit ton of dice. And then if you flip Steve over, he's counting blanks. So pretty much like if you have Cable and Steve on the table, Steve will never die, and you'll probably not hit Cable that much. So they play really well together. But I mean, when you're looking at what he's like, him being
Also
an extra,
9 points, right?
that is 9 points, yeah. So it is expensive, but
But you get a teleport for 1 power.
yep.
So you
Right.
always get 2 shots.
And the telekinetic shield, like every opponent turn, it's only going to cost 1.
Yeah.
So
Does that reduce the Omega level threat?
no, it does not
No.
because it has to
I
have
didn't
a
think so.
yeah, it doesn't do it on variable superpowers. Like he's
But that saving the power on Body Slide by 1 and Telekinetic Shield will allow you to use Omega level threat more often.
Yeah.
yeah, like you're going to get crazy value in Avengers.
And this conversation stole my whole segment. So
Oh, well you can still do it. Don't cut that out. You use that. You can be a little bit more in depth. But yeah, like you look at him and he's got like a lot of really good things. I've actually played an okay amount of X-Force. They struggle with scenario and with Cable being 5 threat. He's got a lot of really good stuff on there, but the leadership I think is very very weak, and he just he everything on paper he seems really good, but I've had games where like even with the 1 die once per turn, it's just not enough, and on a 5 threat character, excuse me, rolling 5 dice, uh there's a lot of games where like you're strictly just coming down to dice. He has telekinetic shield, but no one in X-Force or nobody that you're taking is particularly sturdy, except for maybe Colossus. But I don't think that Colossus really plays into X-Force that well as far as like what the rest of the team is wanting to do. So I don't know. I feel like everything about him, like when it comes out, is just very middling. And then if you have bad dice rolls, like he feels really terrible for like a 5 threat character because he's not really doing a whole lot of anything else. So
Let's do an interesting comparison here. So not last time, but we recently did Magneto,
mhm.
and a lot of what we've said about Cable is also true of Magneto. But Magneto is absolutely fantastic on the table. Like Magneto is an expensive leader,
Mhm.
and he is
in a much better
someone who likes to
affiliation.
play back. And he's even more expensive than Cable.
Well,
But he doesn't have any of the same whinging because all of his stuff is like it's like turned up another notch past what Cable can do.
yeah, like there's a 1 threat difference, but when you look at that 1 threat difference, you're getting like good stamina, like I think more stamina. You're getting even though his defense buff is just for him, he has a crazy good defense buff because you can use it on Cable, but I mean, or you can use it on other people, but I feel like a lot of times it is going on Cable to like protect him. But
Yeah.
I digress on that.
There's a good chance if you put these characters side by side, took away the threat value, and asked people to assign threats between Cable and Magneto, I think they would probably make Magneto a 6, and I think they would most likely put Cable at a 4.
You think so?
I think you're right.
I think that's
you're
probably
absolutely
correct.
right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Magneto gets like if you get people within 2, like he's okay to like get up in the grill where Cable's not, and then he gets full rerolls on like any of his attacks, like within 2 where Cable gets 1. So that makes him so consistent. He has an extra dice on his builder. I don't know, like it is kind of like a weird comparison because this is a 5 to a 6, but just
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's not a fair comparison.
Yeah.
I recognize that, but also I feel like it's relevant because
I understand what you're going for. Yeah.
everything we're saying about Cable is also applicable to Magneto, except Magneto's really good.
Yeah, and
Like undeniably.
his leadership is amazing. Like when you compare like Magneto, if you compare most leaderships in the game to like this, is like so Spider Foes for example, is Spider Foes, is theirs once per turn,
It's
or is it every attack roll?
No, it's 1 attack roll per turn.
One attack roll per turn. Okay, so it's similar.
Yeah, but I think You were gonna say something,
Better.
Brandon.
I think Spider-Foes is
No,
better, right?
I do too.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely better.
Yeah, I think that's a better affiliation, and then that's on a 4-threat leader.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think Cable, like I guess ultimately what I'm getting at is he feels on paper he looks good. In practice, I played him a fair bit. Everything feels a little bit more meh, which is not what you wanted. It just feels very middling. So
If your leader is a 5 or a 6 or even more, to be fair, like it has to be a model that is going to impact the game
severely.
on every turn, like outside of turn 1, and
Yeah.
you want it to impact the game on turn 1 as well.
Yeah, and you want consistency with what they can do. I feel like he just doesn't. Like he gets one die reroll, but I feel like he just doesn't have a whole lot of consistency. And I've had games where he just like shits the bed on his dice, and he's doing a majority. He needs to be doing a majority of your work, and it feels so
Well,
terrible when that happens.
And that one reroll is really awkward because like he's going to want to attack twice every turn, and if you don't use it on the first one and then you just put dice on the second one,
Yeah, then you lose it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one thing
So
I will
use
talk.
that aggressively.
Yeah, one thing I will talk about before we go into actually like rating him that I do feel like adds value to him, and that's the cat and mouse card that is for X-Force. It's reactive, and it's after all characters have been deployed, an X-Force character may play this card. Place this character within 2 of its current position. This character cannot make more than 1 move action during its next activation. Essentially, what you do is you deploy Cable. You deploy him. Most of the time it's centrally, but if you see they're like putting characters on like a B or something like that on one side that you really want to like scalpel out, or maybe like a D shape or something like that, like you could put him off center. But I feel like a lot of the times it goes center. It's a free card to play, so you just play it. You place him within 2. Again, he's on a medium base, so you're getting like good distance off that. He has enough power turn 1 to body slide by 1, so you put him another 2 forward. You walk if you need to, but most of the time the 2 plays plus a body slide if you're activating him toward the end of the round. That's enough to get you in range to double tap people, and it's a very strong like turn 1 play. No one else in the game. Well, Malekith used to. No one else in the game quite has like an impact. I guess She-Hulk with oh shit, what's that card? Special delivery.
What is it? Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that one I guess does have like a similar effect to it, but it's just like a good like turn 1 play. And again, you're kind of praying to the dice gods. If you get good rolls on your double plasma rifles, you can like easily set up his next two turns, like with the power that you'll get. So, I don't know. It's a very strong play. I feel like I'd be kind of remiss if I didn't bring up Cat and Mouse because I feel like it's almost exclusively stapled to Cable. But yeah. So unless anybody has anything else that they would like to chime in, I feel like we can kind of go on to rating them. All right. So I started with Brad asking about it. So Brandon, why don't you take us off here and give us a rating for Cable?
I really want to give like a dual rating on Cable because I think as a leader he's like a C plus, but I don't think he's necessarily that bad as an overall model. Like I said, I think he fits in actually really well with the Avengers. But I don't know if that's gonna be because Avengers have such a good. I'm sticking with the C plus.
Okay. Maybe that for those of you at home, if you're listening right now, you made it this far of the cast and you're listening to the character review, which I would assume that's why you're coming to the cast. But if you would like us to actually like review an affiliation, let us know. We've kind of toyed around with the idea of that before, maybe like giving an affiliation a review. So if that's something that you'd be interested to hear, please let us know, and we'd be happy to do it. Just kind of rate the affiliation as a whole. But anyways, go ahead, Fred.
I want to give this good gentleman a B minus, which I think is being a little bit generous. But I think that he is like everything on here is good. And I'm sure that he does a lot of work when the dice gods want to play nice.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna give him a B minus.
All right, Brad.
B minus.
C plus for me. like I've played him enough to where I'm like, he's okay. I'm saying C plus is like about as middle of the road as you can get. I feel like that's where Cable is. So
We have recently been like largely very close together as a group.
getting in the same mindset there, baby.
Is it a problem?
Oh no, it's not a problem at all. That just means that we're in sync,
I don't
man.
know. I don't know.
We got our Bluetooth all synced up. We're good to go.
I think in reality, all it is that we've like pounded negativity into Fred, and he's giving lower grades than he normally does.
It's just being ground down slowly.
Hey, how much of that influence do you think is me influencing everyone else just a little bit too?
Oh, there it is. You are very
Hey, how much-
infectious. Yeah, I think that's probably what it is.
That's much more likely than the
I think
alternative.
I think that's what it is. Yeah. All right, so you said C plus, right, Brandon? Or did you say C minus?
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
so two C pluses, two B minuses, coming out for Cable. Yeah, he's middle of the road. If you like him, play him. If you like the affiliation, you think they're cool, play him. I mean, he's a cool looking model. I like the shield on him, so yeah. All right.
I think this is an interesting model because I feel like as a group we've played X Force a lot.
Yeah, between everybody like and locally, I think there has been quite a bit of X Force played, mostly on Brad's
Not
part.
Fred.
But, no, not Fred. Fred did not play X Force.
I've never played them.
But the three of us have played him.
Also, his model looks really cool.
Yeah, like he's
It's
a good
very
model. I don't know. He's all right. I was excited for him. I wanted him to perform well on the table, but sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. And again, when you look at it competitively, you really want that consistency. So, all right. Well, I think we can move on to comic review. And Brad, I know that you know all about the Summers family, so why don't you take it?
Oh yeah,
take it from here.
I love the Summers family.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. There we go. I had to bring up my notes app. So Cable, the son of Scott Summers, Cyclops, and a clone of Jean Grey named Madeline Pryor, has been in the comics since late 80s, early 90s. I should have looked up when he first premiered. He first premiered in like New Mutants 98, maybe somewhere in there.
New Mutants 86 in February of 1990.
86. Wow, he was in New Mutants for a lot longer than I thought before it ended. What was the year?
1990, February of 90.
For a while, his name was just Cable. He had no alternate name, and you didn't really know where he came from. And then, like after his creator went off to go to form another company, they made him Scott Summers' son. So that was all a big retcon. For a while, he was the clone of Scott Summers' son because someone else was claiming to be the real one. Anyway, Cable is an interesting and very popular character amongst comic readers. I personally, I'm hot and cold on him. Sometimes I like his comics and sometimes I don't. I love young Cable though. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. My headphone made a weird noise, so I was just making sure everyone's still there. Anyway, at one point, a younger version of Cable kills Cable and hangs around in the current timeline for a while. I love that Cable. That Cable's great. Anyway, this Cable, I picked none of his stories because I figure we will get a young Cable bottle at some point. So we're going to talk about old Cable. And I have two different stories here. The first one is Cable 48 through 70. It's a pretty long run of comics. This is a couple different writers, including James Robinson and Joe Casey. And the glue holding this together is art by Jose.
Oh, I think we lost you, Brad.
You lost me? For how long?
Just a second.
No, you just said Jose.
Oh, no. I paused because that's a lowercase L. Ladron.
Oh,
LADRONN. Yeah.
He faked us out. Look
It
at that.
looked like a
Yeah,
capital.
it went dead silent. It was.
Yeah.
It's good.
It looked like a capital I, so I was a little confused for a second. This is a very good run of Cable comics that no one ever talks about. Like, I listened to some X-Men podcasts, and one of them reviews X-Men stories, and they just kind of pick and choose from whatever. And they were recently talking about 2 stories within this run, and they're like, both of the people were like, we forgot how good these comics were. Like, we should really, like, not forget that later. The artist, Jose, he does a pretty good Jack Kirby impression.
Oh.
And so it's got this like classic feel to it, but these are from the 90s, and there's like overlap with Shield, and they're bombastic, and it feels like classic comics, and they're really good. And it get a wide variety of stories within that run, 48 to 70. So you get a really good like understanding of who Cable is, because he goes through a lot. So good recommendation there. Then, okay, how do I explain this? The next story is Cable 155 through 158, which the numbering sounds like it should be from the same series, but it's not really. It's a different series, but they went back to the old numbering.
Okay.
Anyway,
This is like X-Men isn't confusing enough.
No, that's comics. That's not an X-Men. Well, it's superhero comics. Like Detective Comics, Batman comic. It started with number 1. It went for a long time, the same numbering, like hundreds of issues. And then they went back to number 1, and they went back to number 1 a bunch. But when they hit 1,000 issues, they started numbering them 1,000, 1,001, 1,002.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Even though they're not continuously numbered. Anyway, this Cable 155 through 158 is by Zach Thompson, Lonnie Nadler, and the artist is Herman Peralta.
The Nabler.
And what?
You said Nabler, so I said the Nabler, like he was some kind of villain.
Nadler.
Oh, they said Nab. I was like, that's a funny
No.
name. I'm gonna say it like he's a villain. Okay. I added nothing to this. Go ahead.
Anyway.
That made me think of Napster.
Napster.
So a big mistake that Cable made in his past comes back and threatens him and his adoptive daughter, and he tells her the story of what happened, the biggest mistake he's ever made, and then they have to deal now with the repercussions from that. It's good, it's touching, it's surprisingly deep. It goes into his past, being raised like 3,000 years in the future. That's part of it. And it's got a really touching scene between him and the girl he raised as his own daughter.
Is like the future that he's always in, like it's like just Sentinel ridden?
No. So Bishop's from a Sentinel ridden future.
That's right.
Cable is from a future far past that, far past that.
What's the minimum IQ you would have to like completely understand X-Men comics?
Every time Brad goes into X-Men comics, I feel like it's like that. I'm in like that fucking meme where like the guy's like looking and there's just like equations everywhere. Like I'm trying to piece it together.
Yeah.
Ultimately, superhero comics are dumb, so you don't have to be that smart to remember it all. Like I forget so many things, but to remember it all, you just have to have a good memory. Anyway. Cable's from a future where Apocalypse has taken over. Like way in the future. Because Apocalypse is eternal. He never dies.
Okay. All right, that's cool. All right. Well.
And well, I might as well mention this because this is fun. Cable is the Messiah, and he has a whole religion that worships him.
Oh.
boy.
Well, that's a big one. You left that out. That's good.
I thought you were just gonna say that he's like by far the best like Summers model in the game.
Summers model. That's
Oh my gosh.
I mean, that's true, right?
We only have the 2.
Yeah, there's
even
like
if we wanna
84
count
of them, Brandon.
Well,
Yeah, if we want to count his fake wife, it kind of
his real wife.
or real, real wife and fake
They got
mom.
married.
Yeah,
They got married. Even counting her, he's the best. Maybe Havoc will be good.
I would hope so. We could also count his quote unquote mother, and he still has that.
His mother?
Yeah.
Who are you talking about?
The Nabbler.
No, the clone is of Jean Grey.
Oh.
That's why I said his fake mother.
Cable's mother. The weird. Let's get into weirdness. So Cable's biological mother is a clone of Jean, but the baby was taken from her very shortly after it was born, and is not long after raised by Scott and Jean for a little bit, and then it's sent into the future and is raised for a couple years by his sister, his alternate universe sister, who was never born in the main universe. And then during Jean and Scott's honeymoon, their minds get transported through time into clone bodies of them that don't have superpowers in Cable's future, and he is raised by Scott and Jean in the future.
Jesus Christ.
What a honeymoon. What a honeymoon.
Isn't there
And
a
then-
significant amount of like Cable comics where he's like just time traveling with a baby attached to him?
Yes, that's his adopted baby, Hope,
Yeah.
who's not related. She is Hope Summers. She is not actually related to the Summers family.
There it is.
Yeah. Cable raises her as Bishop tries to hunt her down because Bishop thinks that she's going to bring around the Sentinel future.
Oh my gosh.
You know
Yeah,
what
so
this
he's
is?
trying to
This
kill a
is,
baby.
The meme of the guy like pointing at the chalkboard that's like going crazy with like strings across the.
Oh,
Charlie
yeah.
Day. Yeah.
Yeah.
On It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Great
Yeah.
show.
That is a fantastic show.
Yeah, that
It's
is
one of my
100% the it's going right now.
Yeah.
Hey,
When you
Brad.
try to explain the Summers family.
Don't
Brandon.
ask Brad another Summers family question. This is gonna be a fucking 2-hour episode.
Hey, Fred.
It's not. I'm not going to. I'm just gonna say that your description has drawn me very close to recommending Death Stranding because of a man from a dead future carrying around a baby.
Oh,
But
there
no,
you go. You should have just done it. Yeah.
Cable
I'm
is
not going
not my favorite child of Scott Summers, though.
Oh, God.
Oh, it's Ruby, right? It's the person. who
It
made
is
up-
Ruby Summers.
You've
who
said
is-
this before.
Yeah, who is the daughter of Scott and Emma Frost, the White Queen. And Emma Frost is a telepath who can turn into diamonds. That's her secondary mutation. Ruby Summers is made of ruby quartz, the same stuff that blocks Cyclops' visor. And she has eye beams as well. And she's awesome.
Way cooler than Cyclops.
Yeah. I wish all of Cyclops' children end up in the main universe, even the alternate version of Cable, who was bioengineered by Sinister from Jean Grey and Cyclops DNA.
Okay.
That's Nate Gray.
God.
But
Well,
all of them
God.
end up in the main universe.
We're moving on. We're moving on.
I
We're
think
moving
All
on.
of them end up in the main universe except Ruby Summers, and I want her in the main universe. Bring her back, Marvel.
I apologize for everybody at home. Like this is a tenth of what we've endured at the shop when you really get Brad on the Summers family tree. He's very passionate about the Summers family. I think I've had like a brain bleed.
Oh my god, I need to talk about further adventures of
Brandon.
Cyclops and Phoenix at some other episode.
Brandon, you want to give us your your roster recommendation that we already spoiled?
Yeah, a little spoiler earlier in the episode, but I do think the best place for Cable is not X-Force. I 100% agree with what we said earlier. I do think his best home is in an Avengers list with a tall Avengers list with Captain America, where you can actually get value out of some of the higher threat Avenger models and play a little bit different game with Avengers, which is kind of always a little bit funner. But I think it really, really helps Cable. Like other than that, like the ways you really want to help him. I also really like him in that list with Baron Mordo being able to pump plasma rifle as well as for a cheaper cost is very helpful, and I think
Oh yeah,
Mordo
7
does
dice
a lot
builders,
of
yeah.
and I think Mordo does a lot of good things in that. Like I said, that little combination at 12 points is a pretty good start for a decent list, and giving him excess amounts of power, giving them 7 dice builders. And you usually want to do it on the second attack, so you hopefully get Incinerate off the first attack. And then allowing him to use his Omega level threat. If you've caught on, I'm real big on throwing stuff in this game. So
Yep. That's good. I like that. I knew about like him and Avengers, but I didn't consider Baron Mordo. That's actually really good tech. I like that.
yeah, it also helps because he is affiliated with the Avengers.
Yeah.
So that definitely it
Baron
helps you
Mordo's
stay
not an Avenger.
He's talking about Cable.
Cable. I'm saying like on a 3 model base, 2 of them are Avengers. God, and everyone else in the game seemingly Avengers affiliated. You won't have any trouble staying affiliated. Is what I'm getting at.
Yep. All right, that's a good suggestion. Thank you, Brandon. Fred, take us out with a non sequitur.
All right, so I'm about to be the most hated person in the universe for this one.
I doubt that.
All right. Scott Summers, and then Cable, and then Hope Summers. That would make Cable kind of like the middle summer, right? Sort of a mid-summer.
Oh, here we go.
You guys seen the horror movie called Midsommar?
I have not.
So it is I don't know if the number is correct, but it is the second movie, I think, by director Ari Aster. He's the guy who did Hereditary, and this is a movie based around a group of folks who go to participate in the midsummer ritual of a community that lives by the old ways in Sweden, and it is an excellent horror movie.
I've heard it's good.
Yeah, it's very good.
It's not scary though, right? It's just psychological.
It's suspenseful.
It is suspenseful. It's not really spooky, but it uses the thing about Ari Aster is he uses grief as his method of horror, and this is a movie that is dripping in it, and it is highly effective. So I would say that it's one of the better horror movies that's come out in the past 5 years. Definitely up there.
Okay.
And this has been a very good year for horror. So
it was his second non-short movie that he directed.
A non-short? A what?
It's probably his second full length.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Non-short. Yeah.
Yep.
I was not going to discredit shorts as movies, so wasn't going to do that. I'm not getting yelled at. It's not my thing.
This is another solid Fred recommendation, guys.
Have you seen it, Brad?
Yeah, it was so good.
Oh, okay.
It is maybe the best movie I'm never gonna watch again.
You know what? That's a pretty good description of it.
And for I don't know how long, I finally have stopped. I thought about that movie at least once a week for months and months and months after I saw it.
Wow.
It is a deeply affecting movie. I will say that very much. You will think about it quite a bit after watching it, and that is high praise for a 2-hour horror movie.
Okay.
Because most of those you walk out of and it slides off your brain in no time at all.
I've always heard really really great things about it. It's just one that I've not ever made the time to like sit down and watch, but I need to. So I probably will do that, Fred.
Yeah, just a content warning for everybody. It does deal in the category of self-harm and people who take their own life. So it is a very intense and very grief-filled movie, but it's also very good.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Fred. And if you guys are still sticking with us at the very end of the podcast, thank you so much for joining us. Yeah. Don't bring up Summers.
Oh,
And,
hey.
Watch out for the
Before
Nabler.
we go.
Oh, jeez.
Before we
Jesus. Jesus.
Before we go.
Here we go.
No. I've looked at the YouTube and stuff, and I know that there are a lot of people who aren't listening right now. So if you are listening right now, make a comment about your favorite pizza topping.
Ooh.
Oh.
Just to prove that you made it this far.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't know what we can do for you if you do that, but I will personally get on those comments, and I will comment if you give us your pizza topping. So
You might mess around and get a free pizza. You never know.
Oh, jeez, don't start that. Oh, I got in the cast now. You're giving away stuff. All right, you guys. I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.